talking to Savion the other day. He said last offseason he came in, say shot to shot. He came to ask you about wearing number 9. He said you told him he wasn't ready.
Yeah.
Obviously he got ready. What did he do to kind of change your mind and allow him to wear the historic number?
Well, it's just consistency over time. It's similar, different at the same time. Bradley had a really solid sophomore year, one that kind of gave us the belief in him. You know what I mean? And I see that with Savion now. He's still just like Bradley. Bradley took it to another level. Savion still needs to do that, but we see it in him, and it's just consistent behavior over a long period of time. As a coach, that builds trust. And with him, as you can see, he's put on good weight. He's moving well. He's been out there every day working hard. So it's our way not just to honor those guys that wore 9, but to get a player to understand that we have confidence in them.
He said he had to call Chubb, have a conversation.
Yeah.
Is that part of the requirements?
Yeah, it is. I want to make sure those guys, understand why we're doing it. Bradley had to do the same thing. He called Mario. Mario talked to him, and what the responsibility is. It's more than a jersey number. It's a legacy.
You have huddle now. You have so many different ways to find players. How much, in your camps, how much more digging do you do to find preferred walk-ons than in the past, and to try to use maybe NIL ways to lure players to be a walk-on?
Well, that piece of it's new, but we've been trying since I've been here to build our walk-on program, and we have, and we're fortunate, to be in a state that has so many kids that want to come to our school, and to be able to have the roster size we do because of Title IX. We've been able to grow our roster over time, and there's kids we're turning away, so it's a great position to be in. There's kids turning down, lower level scholarships at times to come walk on here to play, at the school they want to play at and play at the highest level and see if they're good enough. And that helps us so much, and sometimes it's not just on the scout team. Sometimes it's a guy, as a Thayer Thomas that comes along, a Brady Bodine from a couple years ago that earns a scholarship and becomes one of our better playmakers on our team.
How have you seen a Julian Gray develop from spring to now, from last year?
More confidence. He's making catches. He's more consistent, fewer mistakes. He's been fast since the minute he got on campus, but now he knows where to go and how to use the speed.
Weekend, does anybody stand out as far as maybe position-wise that maybe is a question you didn't expect?
Darryl Jones would be one just because he was out for most of the spring with a hamstring, and so being able to watch him now for 7 practices and see his growth, he's what we thought he was going to be, but we didn't know because he was hurt all spring. So, his name comes to mind for sure. Defensively, Jalen Scott and Devin Betty, the 2 linebackers that got a lot of reps last year with our injuries, those guys have improved a lot. They're making a lot of plays in practice.
I heard you tell the ACC network about some of these guys are taking so many snaps because they've been here 5 or 6 years. Guys in full pass now. Do you kind of, Isaiah and Drake can tackle, they can do a pass. So you kind of hold them back a little bit more and kind of see what the younger guys can do in those situations?
Yeah, I think each position coach has a different room of guys, and the running back room is going to practice differently, have more reps probably than the linebacker room right now because we have 3 starters back at linebacker and no starter back at running back, So each coach has to manage his room, and we do know how many snaps these guys have in games. So, really the magic of it is how much do they need to be ready to play as good as they can in 23 days. We don't have to give them everything. We need to give them enough, and that's kind of where we have to discuss those reps every day.
How much different is the defense when Tanner Ingle is both healthy and on the field, especially last year when we had so many injured guys?
Yeah, Tanner's different. He triggers differently than a lot of people in the back end. He sees things. His vision, ability to diagnose plays and react is unique. And so having him out there, especially in the run game, makes a big difference because he can get from 12 yards from the line of scrimmage to the ball in a hurry. So even though he's in a pass coverage position at times and they're not counting him, he can show up and be an extra half.
A lot of talk in the offseason, obviously, about losing your left tackle and your top 2 running backs. Have the guys who are back here kind of taking that personal to kind of show, like, hey, we can get this thing going and pick up where he left off? Yeah,
I think, Anthony Belton, for example, is a guy that all offseason heard about what's gone, instead of what's coming back. And so for him, he's got to prove, that. He knows that he has an opportunity because naturally you're going to wonder who our next left tackle is, and it's an opportunity for him to be in that spotlight and show that he's good enough.
Same thing with Jordan, too. probably heard all of
Jordan Houston, yeah, a little different with him because he played so much, you know, a couple years ago. But yeah, I mean, last year he was kind of the forgotten man, I think you'd say, and then was a great role player on special teams, and now it's his turn.
I do like having the all access come around 24/7.
Yeah, it's been great. You know, they're very professional. They respect what we're doing. They allow us to, you know, have our say in what's going on film. But even though they're here, they're very good at you're not seeing them very much. You know, they kind of understand how to hide in the room. And so it's been awesome. I think it's going to be good insight and opportunity for people to see our team, our players, our staff, our culture, and you know, hopefully learn a lot about what really happens inside a building.